From the Ear to There Travel Studio, this is the Ear to There Disney Podcast.
Welcome aboard the Ear to There Podcast, the podcast that'll help you vacation like a pro in any Disney destination. For those of you standing, please sit down and hold on throughout our journey and get ready to learn how to have the time of your life. And now, here's your host, Phil Gramlich.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ear to There Podcast. I'm your host, Phil Gramlich. I am also the owner and operator of Ear to There Travel, which is a Disney-specialized travel agency. It is my job to take away all of that stress, all of that anxiety, and all that time that it takes to book a Disney trip so you can focus on the fun things like having a great time with your family and friends and enjoying the magic. You can find this podcast, my blog, or request a free, no-obligation quote over at ear2theretravel.com. Also, if you're a runner or if you're interested in being a runner, check out my other podcast. It's called Running for Sandwiches. The tagline is Running Rewards with a Dash of Disney. You can find that on iTunes, on Google Play, on Stitcher, wherever you find your podcasts. Or you can always find it at runningforsandwiches.com. Oh, and I always forget to mention about the Disney side of it. All of my services that I provide for my clients, whether that's finding the best price on your resort or ticket packages or dining plans, booking dining reservations, booking fast pass reservations, Disney's Magical Express, golf tee times, special event tickets, and much, much more. I handle all of that at absolutely no extra cost to you. That's right. I am completely 100% free to work with. All right, this is episode number 90, believe it or not, for the week of September 25th, 2017. Now, grab a drink, grab a snack, and as a famous mouse once said, on with the show. He probably didn't say it exactly like that. I kind of change it up once in a while. Anyway, on with the show. I don't know about you, but these days I like to kind of take my time in the Disney theme parks. I mean, sure, I'll park hop. I usually start off the day at Magic Kingdom, take a break at the resort for a couple hours, then hit Epcot or Hollywood Studios where we'll have dinner and enjoy a few more attractions or shows, stuff like that. It's not too intense of a day. So park hopping is one thing, but my guests this week have taken park hopping to a completely different level. They challenged themselves to visit each and every domestic Disney theme park in one day. So yes, that's 6 parks, count them, 6, on 2 different coasts with a cross-country flight and a whole bunch of van and car and bus rides all thrown into the mix. To say that idea is crazy is kind of a complete understatement. And that is why I had to have them on the show to talk about their adventure. So Kira and Jeremy Rupon, welcome and thank you for joining me on the show.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Guys, I have to say, and we talked about it just for a minute before I hit record, I think you have to be certifiably insane to do something like you guys. I don't want to give it away yet. I don't want to say if you did it or not, but even to attempt something like this is insane. Whose idea was this? Like, which one of you had to go to your spouse and say, do you want to try this?
So thankfully, we're both crazy, and we've talked about this for years. Like, I think somebody did it a few years ago, and I remember, seeing, little human interest stories on, CNN and stuff about, a guy and his son or something went to all 6 parks and rode a ride in each one, and we were in awe and thought that was the coolest thing. And at that point, we had never even been to Disneyland, so just the thought of even trying that was just amazing. We both had this kind of in the back of our mind for a little while.
So, because if I went to Amy, my wife, and said I wanted to do this, she probably would start drawing up the divorce papers right away. But we have I forget how old your kids are. We have a 6-year-old and 2 4-year-olds. I know you guys have kids too, right?
Yeah, we do, and they came along. They were part of the show. They're 10 and 8, so they're a little bit stores, so we're kind of out of the stroller zone, and we're a little bit more independent, and they're a little bit more cooperative, I think, now that they're older. He's laughing because they're really not.
Yeah. No, see, yeah.
They were more cooperative when they were 2.
Yeah, I see. I don't find. I agree with you guys. I don't find that they're mine as they get older. I find like we're butting heads more than we did when they were little. Like it's just a different argument, a different kind of argument.
Yeah.
Spoiler, that's worse.
Yeah, today we were fighting. My daughter, we're trying to take her to school, and she wanted to wear boots up to her knee. It was 85 degrees, and she's 4. So you're like, what are you going to do? And my wife's like, we got to get him out the door. And I'm like, all right, well, she wanted to wear shorts and boots that were to her knee. She looked like she was on some kind of strange alpine, like, skiing expedition. But, all right, so you guys decide it's going to be you guys, you two, and your kids. What kind of planning goes into something like this? Like, is it something that you plan a year ahead of time? Do you know exactly how you want to do it, how you want to hit the parks? Do you have all that done before you go?
We definitely had all that done before we decided to even try, but we kind of fell into this sort of backwards. Originally, we had just decided to do a Disneyland only trip this year. So last summer, we did Florida straight into California, and we did both Magic Kingdom and Disneyland on the same day. So we had a picture of the kids in front of the castle in Florida, rope dropping Magic Kingdom, and then we had a picture of them in front of Sleeping Beauty Castle in California, closing down Disneyland. So we did that last year. This year we decided we were going to take it easy and only go to California.
Well, most people would have thought that was enough of a accomplishment to open Magic Kingdom, close Disneyland, but not for us.
You guys had to take it up a notch.
Exactly. So we had booked our week in California, probably back in like January, and we were swearing that we were only doing California. We weren't going to go to Florida. It's too hot in August, all of that.
But then, what made you decide to kind of pull the trigger on it?
So I kind of have a Frontier Airlines problem. I have the membership in their little discount den where you pay like $50 a year and you get access to super good deals. And when they extended their schedule into the summer months, I think it's probably back in like April or May, they had crazy good fares. And I noticed right away about a week before our California trip that they had flights from Philadelphia down to Orlando for $24 a person.
Oh, man.
That's
insane.
That's insane. Like, how can you say no to that?
Yeah.
And then just for fun, I was like, well, let me see how much it would cost to fly from Orlando to LA. And then I was even more shocked because it was only $88 per person.
Oh, man.
From
it's
Orlando.
almost like you could not do it at that point.
Right. Exactly. So like,
you had to try it.
I'm pretty sure I texted Jeremy and was like, oh my God, we have to do this. And I'm not even sure I waited for him to respond before I booked the flights. Honestly, I think I may have just booked them and then told him, sorry, we're doing this. But even then, like the whole 6 parks in one day thing wasn't on our radar until a little while later. We were actually looking at it and realized that it was a direct flight. So the year prior, we had a layover in like Phoenix or something, and we didn't have a chance.
It was Dallas, but
whatever. Somewhere in the West.
But the layover, I thought about it last year, and then the issue was when we were going, it was the same time, but Disneyland had gone to their like non-peak hours, so DCA was closing at 8. So that just, if it was one of those situations where they were open till 10 and Disneyland was open till midnight, we may have tried it the year before, but
okay.
The logistics of the operating hours and the flight did not work out last year.
Right. So, and then the flight this year, so it was a direct flight from MCO to LAX, and it was kind of scheduled right in the middle of the day, sort of perfectly. So it took off from Orlando at like 2:20 in the afternoon and landed in LA at 4:37. So if there was ever a chance to be able to try it, even with those reduced hours, because we had that problem with both Florida and California kind of moving to value season with nothing in Florida opening before 9 a.m. and, DCA closing at 8 and Disneyland closing at 9, we're kind of squeezed in there hours wise. But I think we just kind of started realizing that there was a chance that you could pull this off. If you played your cards right, you could hit all 4 and still get to the airport in time for the flight at 2:20. And assuming that LA traffic cooperated, you could theoretically get from the airport to the parks in California and get into both of them.
There's just so many variables. Like, as I'm listening to you talk about it, I'm like, oh my God, there's so much that goes into that. Like, you have to, all right, so I'm a terrible, nervous flyer, and I'm always at the airport 2 hours ahead of my flight. So I don't know how did you, like, did you plan on, okay, we're going to do this park we're going to be there at, 8:30 a.m. or whatever. Did you have, I'm assuming you had a rental car with your luggage packed, ready to roll, and tell me how you kind of decided how to do it. I'm blown away by this.
Yeah. So we did a lot of proactive things to try and ease the transition between Florida and California as much as possible. We both signed up for TSA pre-check, which is fantastic.
Right.
I believe that we've flown this many years without having that, honestly, dealing with those TSA lines in Orlando. So that way we could just kind of zoom right through security and get straight to our gate. We did have a rental car because we were actually in the Florida portion. We were staying at the cabins at Fort Wilderness. So the fact that you could just pull your car right up to your cabin and be in your room in like 30 seconds is fantastic. So we already had planned for a rental car, so we didn't have to worry about the 3-hour advance timing for Magical Express or anything like that. Additionally, we actually shipped our luggage, which is something we've never done before. So before we left Philadelphia, we shipped a suitcase out to California with everything that we would need for that part of the trip.
Nice. That is a smart move.
And then we did the same thing with the stuff that like all the dirty laundry and the stuff that we didn't need anymore from Florida. We packed it in a suitcase and we shipped it home before we left Florida. So we only carry on. We didn't have any checked luggage. So we didn't have to worry about getting to the airport in enough time to check the bags.
Yes, as cheap as Frontier is, sometimes you get what you pay for. And especially at MCO, they're just terribly slow. Like, you could see every counter, that's a long line of counters, and the only one that has an egregious line is the Frontier one.
Yeah.
So. And then the thought of get the bags off the baggage carousel in California and wait that much time there. We're just like, let's see how we can expedite this. With a family of 4 doing basically a 2-week vacation, there was no way we could go carry on only for the entire trip. We just needed too much stuff, but being able to ship the stuff back and forth made it super easy.
Dude, that is so smart. I never even would have thought of that. See, this is why and I'm a travel agent. And I'm like, I don't know how they pull this off. I got to figure this out. No, that is awesome. That is such a smart move. All right, so I'm sorry, Jeremy, go ahead.
I was just saying the luggage shipping was super awesome. I'll do it again for not something this complicated.
Yeah, what's funny is I know when we travel with our kids, like when they were little, you just threw a bag, all 3 of their clothes fit in one bag. It was easy. Now that they're older and they want to bring their own backpacks and they have snacks and Kindle Fires and all kinds of stuff we're bringing. It's a pain in the butt to travel with them, to go through the airport with them with 3 extra people. 7 years ago, it was my wife and I, we were just in and out. It was fast. Now when you have these 3 people who don't want to cooperate, it makes it a lot more difficult to get through an airport. So yeah, that's a great idea. I never even thought, we were out in Disneyland in July and I never even thought to ship anything back and forth. We do the garden grocer things. So we don't have to bring food and all that, but that is an awesome idea. So how did you, okay, couple questions. Sorry, I'm completely into this. So did you have a set rule? I heard you say the people that you saw do it before had to ride one attraction, to do one attraction in each park. Was that your rule, or were you guys, for this trip, or were you guys just saying, go into a park, take a picture, leave?
Yep, so we decided we wanted to go into the park. We wanted to take a picture in front of a major park icon, Spaceship Earth, the castle, the Tree of Life, something like that, and ride an attraction in each park. And then we clarified it even further to, I guess, make it harder on ourselves. We wanted to do a unique attraction in each place. So everything we rode in Florida exists only in Florida, and everything that we rode in California exists only in California. I mean, they're in the international parks, but kind of domestically.
There's only one thing. It's just rock and roller coasters in Paris.
Yeah. So Hollywood Studios kind of got hard because there's only 4 rides left.
Yeah.
2 of the 4 have exact copies in California, and nothing is unique across the globe to Hollywood Studios at this current point. So we had to kind of make the rule that it just in the United States. So Florida specific attractions and California specific attractions. So that was our goal, but we were definitely willing to flex on that if it came to it, because clearly this is a fun challenge. We really wanted to achieve it, but missing our flight was not an option.
No.
So if it came down to it, we were going to be fine with run into a park and grab a selfie and run out, or even just, calling it and bailing on a park and just, we'll just do both castles again or something like that.
Right.
So, but yeah, we were trying to do an attraction, a unique attraction, a photo in each park.
So, because it wasn't hard enough to
Right.
start with, you're like, let's make it a little more difficult for ourselves. So, did you guys know which parks? So you said you were planning it very well. So I'm assuming in Walt Disney World in Florida, you had your parks planned out in order of, was it proximity to where you started? How did you figure out how to do the first 4 parks?
There was a little bit of kind of all of that. So, like I said before, the Florida parks, nothing had a regular open time of any earlier than 9 a.m. and there was no morning magic hours either.
Okay.
But the Magic Kingdom did have that early morning magic that you have to pay for, but it also gives you an hour and 15 minutes that we didn't have before. So that lets you into Magic Kingdom at 7:45. So as painful as it was, we literally paid for that to run into the Magic Kingdom, ride a ride, take a photo, and run out.
I appreciate you not naming the ride until we got to the day. That was pretty awesome of you. And then when you, all right, so I at least know you made it to Los Angeles. Where were you guys staying in, were you staying in the Anaheim area for your hotel?
We were staying on property. We're staying at Grand Californian.
Oh, that's an awesome hotel. I love that place.
Yeah, so when we were originally planning to do California only, that was like the big time splurge. We were going to have, was 5 awesome nights at Grand Californian. It was going to be a nice chill vacation.
Yeah, I mean, I've stayed there. My wife and I stayed there on our honeymoon. Almost 10 years ago now. That's crazy to me. But we most recently stayed at the Disneyland Hotel, and I love all 3 resorts out there. They're awesome. Actually, that's a lie. I love 2 of the 3. Paradise Pier is fine.
That's what I hear.
What's that?
That's what I hear about Paradise.
Yeah, listen, and again, I'm not. I try to be as honest as I possibly can on this podcast, and it's not a bad resort at all. But the benefits of staying at Disneyland Hotel, or especially the Grand Californian, is you kind of roll out of bed and you're in Disneyland.
Yeah.
At Paradise Pier, it's not quite like that. So it's that's kind of a pain. But all right, so let's get to the day. I want you guys, if you can, to kind of take me through the day, like how it starts, like everything, any challenges you found. Kind of walk me through your day. I want to be like I'm a fly on the wall or a fly on the window or whatever, flying your luggage. Tell me how it goes.
So the thing that I perseverated probably the most over was we wanted to get the car. I mean, small spoiler alert. We're going to plan to end at Epcot.
Okay.
So we wanted the car, and we knew we were going to Magic Kingdom first. So I was perseverating on how to logistically make that happen. And we had thought about different things, and long story short was I called the Mears company and asked if they could have a cab come to the Fort Wilderness at some ungodly hour.
6:30 in the morning.
And so the cab picked up the kids and Kira, and I drove the rental car to a vacant Epcot lot and then ran over to where the cabs picked people up over at Epcot, and then he drove us to Contemporary.
Wow.
And that solved that problem. That was, to me, was going to be the biggest challenge, and we pulled that off.
Yeah. So the cab was right on time in the morning. We had preloaded all like the carry-on luggage in the car the night before. So really, we just had to get up, get dressed, and like prod the kids out the door.
Yeah, and I think I booked it like 10 the night before. And they were flawless. It was great.
Yeah, so that was definitely clutch, kind of getting the car into position to make our quick getaway at the end, and then get us to where we needed to be to start the day. So I think we were, the cab picked us up at Fort Wilderness at like 6:30. We were heading into Magic Kingdom from Contemporary by 7.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so you're starting in Magic Kingdom and it opens at 8, right?
7:45.
Oh, 7:45. Okay. So you're...
Got our wristbands for that. We had a ton of time to kill, so we took some photos in front of the train station. And they actually opened it 2 minutes early, which was fantastic. I was like, every minute counted.
Yeah.
At this point, we had a very low confidence in of being able to achieve all 4 parks. Because we only had about 4 hours to pull it off. So that's, given how far apart all the Florida parks are, plus having to go through security 4 times, and you just never know what you're going to encounter.
Sure.
So.
I think the point is we originally were banking on the express bus.
Oh, right. Yeah. And they canceled it right before you got there.
That got, squashed like 2 days before this or something.
Yeah.
Yep. The last day of operation for Express Bus was the first day of the Florida part of our trip.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that ended, which is a bummer to me, too, because I got to try it when I was down there by myself in May, and I really, really liked that. But I guess...
security just seemed like it would be such a good thing for this kind of challenge.
Yeah. Like you said, waiting in security 4 different times is a big chunk of time that,
like those parkeology guys and Kenny the Pirate always try to do all the rides in one day. Like, it seemed like Express Bus was clutch for them, so we figured we would, piggyback off of their planning for that, but that didn't work out so well.
No. All right, so you get to Magic Kingdom, you get in 2 minutes early. Where do you guys? So do you head straight to the castle? Do you head toward your attraction? What do you do?
So we went straight to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
Wow, nice.
There's only 3 attractions guaranteed to be operating during early morning, or not guaranteed because they can never guarantee anything, but usually Mine Train, Peter Pan, and Winnie the Pooh are what's running, and sometimes the carousel. So of those, Mine Train is the only one that's unique to Florida. So we walked as fast as our feet could carry us. We made it onto the first train ride of the day.
Wow.
Grabbed a quick selfie in front of the ride, and then laughed as we were walking back out towards Main Street because they have everything roped off because it's only the people that have early morning magic. And all the cast members are kind of looking at us like, you're going the wrong way.
Yeah.
Like, what are you people doing? We're burning money to do a...
Yeah.
Yeah, so then we hopped in line, got a PhotoPass photo in front of the castle. We had little chalkboards with us, so throughout the day we were updating, which park number we were on, which ride we rode, so that they would be in all the PhotoPass photos, Ultimate Park Hop, Ride 1, Park 1, Magic Kingdom, Ride 1, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and then we left. So we were in the Magic Kingdom for a total of 20 minutes.
Wow. That's an awesome start. All right, so where do you go? How do you get to your next park?
Yeah, so we decided we were going to Animal Kingdom next, and we had a decent shot at being able to rope drop Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, but we had that was our only, we had booked one fast pass, and that was, we did Navi River Journey for we think we got as close to 9 a.m.
9:05,
as humanly possible.
Yeah, so we again walked back to the Contemporary, and as we were walking over, we called an Uber.
Nice.
So that we would, get dropped off as close to the park as we could. We wouldn't have to deal with the buses. Of course, as soon as we walked up to the Contemporary, there was an Animal Kingdom bus that was boarding. It was tempting to get on it just because then it would be free. But then
we
you also
already
have
called
to,
the Uber at that point.
yeah, we had already called the Uber, and the Uber was like 2 minutes away. So
we probably passed that.
Yeah, you probably still beat him, I would think.
yes,
Yeah,
so we got to Animal Kingdom, and we're walking through the gates by 8:36.
Wow. So you're on your second park before.
Second park.
This winds up being the most clutch part, and this is when I knew we were going to accomplish Florida with no problem.
Because even though the park didn't open until 9, at some point prior to our arrival, they had already opened Pandora.
Wow.
So that big crowd of people getting there early to get on Flight of Passage had already gotten into the Flight of Passage line. We just strolled right up to Navi River Journey, straight walk on, didn't even use our Fast Pass. In, out, done. Took a photo in front of the tree. While we were waiting in line at the photo, we changed the Fast Pass to be a rock and roller coaster for Hollywood Studios Next.
Which was awesome because the first time it told me we couldn't get a Fast Pass till I think 12 or 3, and then one refresh and it was 9:05.
Oh man! So you had that one person cancel right as you were refreshing it, and you it was perfect timing. That's awesome.
Yep. So again, as we're walking out of Animal Kingdom, we call another Uber and headed over to Hollywood Studios. We were walking into Studios before 9:30, 9:28. We walked through the gates of Studios.
Man, like I said, I'm just getting my coffee in the morning, man. Like my kids, when we're there for we're there a week like you guys. We spend a lot of time in the parks, and I'm not in a rush in the mornings to get there. Like I'm just not. I tell my clients and people who listen to the podcast, the show, like get up early, don't waste any time. But then I don't follow my own advice because I'm there all the time. And
I always said I'm going to do that, but then every time I'm there, I'm like, I got to be the first. I can't just rope drop. I have to be at the tap stop.
Do you really? You're that guy?
I'm that guy. Yeah.
Yeah. We said we were crazy. We are.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm back.
So okay, so so now you get to Hollywood Studios. You said 9. Wait, was it Hollywood Studios? Am I crazy?
We're at Studios and
Okay.
walked through the gate through the tap styles at 9:28. So
Wow.
our fast pass for 9:10. We walked straight over to a rock and roller coaster. Actually, I think we stopped and we actually got bottled water. I think before because we didn't really think about breakfast.
I didn't even think to ask you guys about that. How the food was going to work out.
We had some granola bars and stuff from being in the cabins all week.
Okay.
So we had some with us, but we were also going. Another planning thing that we did was we went bagless, so we didn't have any bags for security, so we could just walk right through.
Right.
And I don't think we had to go through any of the metal detectors or anything.
No.
Even. I think
We just looked the other way. And
Don't make eye contact with the security guards.
don't look shady. Just go.
ignore if they say something.
Yeah. So I think we lingered a little bit in Hollywood Studios just because we were feeling pretty confident at that point. We're 9:30 and we're already in our third park.
Yeah.
We felt pretty safe. So we went and we did Rock and Roller Coaster. And then while we were kind of wrapping that up, we were able to grab a fast pass for Spaceship Earth in Epcot that started, 10 something. So all in all, pretty smooth. Walked out of Studios, grabbed a picture in front of the Chinese theater. And at that point, we decided we had plenty of time. I think we left Studios at 10:15. And our master plan was we wanted to be leaving the Epcot parking lot by noon in order to get to the airport, drop off the rental car, and get to the gate 2 hours in advance. So, we were feeling pretty good. And we actually ended up just taking the Disney bus from Studios to Epcot. We didn't mind waiting a little bit.
We thought we'd finally save a little money after we did
Yeah, really.
money for
Exactly.
But pro tip, you can just book one fast pass at a time, and then you can book at another park. You don't have to do all 3. But if you book all 3, I think you have to do them. But
You're right.
If you just book one, and then you can book to another park.
Right. The only problem is with that is that not a whole lot of people are like you guys and who are like, all right, well, we got to hit, one ride in each park in one day. It's insane to me. So, okay. So the timeline already for this is boggling my mind that it's working this perfectly for you guys.
We got a little arrogant.
Yeah.
I guess I would too.
By this
But we
point.
were smug. We knew that we figured Florida was all we could control.
Right.
And then once
once we got to the airport,
then it was just in the airlines and LA traffic's hands. So there was nothing we could do about that.
Right. No. Okay. So you take the bus. You take the Disney bus over to Epcot.
Yeah, we're in Epcot by 10:44.
Okay.
So about a half an hour between leaving studios and walking through the gates at Epcot. We walked up to a 55-minute standby wait at Spaceshipper.
Oh, man.
We had our Fast Pass, even though the Fast Pass line was definitely not, as my son calls it, it was a slow pass line. It was kind of wrapped around the side of the building, but we still had, like we said,
it took like maybe 10 minutes. It wasn't that bad.
It wasn't too bad. So, rode the ride, got our picture taken right in front of it, because obviously the big ball is...
Smelled Rome, all the good stuff.
So I'm still waiting for something to go wrong here. So that works out. You get your picture, and then your car is already there, right? It's already in the Epcot parking lot?
Exactly, because we left it there at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
so
awesome.
by 11:25, we were leaving Epcot, saying goodbye to Disney World, and heading towards the airport. So we, dropped off the rental car. We had gassed it up the night before, so we wouldn't have to stop for gas.
Didn't hit any traffic. In smoothly through security. We actually got, we were able to get, on the border for lunch.
We were at the gate by 12:30, by 12:29 or something like that. Our flight was at 2:20, so just about 2 hours in advance, sitting butts and seats at the gate.
Wow.
Yeah. So we had a little bit of lunch while we waited, and then amazingly, which is it's never like this, I swear. Like, we always get on the worst flights with the worst people who don't think that they need to board on time or sit in their seats so we can take off. But this one, we boarded early. Everybody got in their seats. We took off early. I think we took off 10-15 minutes early. It was just amazing. Exactly what we needed it to be. So got in the air, smooth flight, and I think we landed in LAX maybe 20 minutes early, 25 minutes early. So instead of landing at 4:37, we landed, 4:15, something like that.
That never happens. When I flew out to LA in July, and they were like, well, we're going to land, but we have to circle for 35 minutes because there's no runway that's open. So yeah, everything is working out perfectly for you guys.
Yeah. It's frightening. You're just what's going to go wrong?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're both very pessimistic. So the whole time we're what's going to go wrong? What's going to go wrong? But in another couple of things that we had pre-planned, we selected our seats. We paid the extra money to pick our seats. So we picked seats as close to the front of the plane as we could economically justify. So we weren't in row 1, but I think we were in row 8. So we didn't have to wait for 35 rows of people to deboard the plane. We were off pretty quickly. We didn't have to pick up the luggage like we talked about.
Right.
And then we rented Super Shuttle to take us from LAX to Grand Californian. And instead of doing the standard Super Shuttle where you pick up 8 million people and drop them off at 8 million different hotels, we splurged and went for the private van. So
nice.
It was just us, and they were just taking us to Grand California, and there was no stops in between.
Wow. So
we landed right at rush hour time, so we were oh god, because LAX is so far away from Anaheim.
Yeah. And LAX is such a zoo too. Getting in and out of there is insane.
Yeah, so we landed at 4:15, and we were in our Super Shuttle by 4:35. So,
oh my god, again, no bags, right? So that takes a big weight off your shoulders just without the bags, because that again, you could wait forever at that airport. That airport's such a mess. I feel like it's been under construction for years.
So definitely got lucky there. And then as we are we've heard all the horror stories about LA traffic, and people were telling me in advance, oh, there's no way that you'll make it landing at that hour. You're going to sit in 3 hours of traffic. You're just going to sit there on the freeway and not move an inch for an hour. Terrifying. Not just because it was going to ruin this attempt, but can you imagine being stuck in the car with the kids for 3?
No. God, I'm sorry.
So definitely was, that was my biggest concern was, just what the traffic was going to be assuming we landed on time.
But it moved pretty smoothly. And probably about, I think, 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes into the ride, and we could sense that we were getting closer. We looked at each other and were like, holy F, we're going to do this.
Holy what? Wait, holy what? I have a G-rated podcast. I don't know what that word was.
Okay.
I'm kidding. All right.
Well, even the Super Shuttle driver even commented, he's like, this is really weird. The traffic is very light today.
What day was it? What day of the week was it?
It was a Tuesday.
Oh, wow. So you're really, it's not like it's a Saturday or Sunday where you...
Right.
Birthday, yeah.
Wow. All right, so you take, how long about is the, because usually it's a, what is it? Like an hour and 20-minute ride from the airport to Disneyland from LAX.
Yep.
How long did it take you guys?
Just over an hour.
Wow, that's awesome.
Oh, right?
Like that's best case scenario, like on any day at any time.
Yeah, it really is. I have my buddy works out there in Disneyland. He works at California Adventure right now, and he always tries to get me to fly into the John Wayne Airport. But I love it too. I love that airport, but it's so hard you can't fly in a direct flight.
Right.
And I'm a terrible flyer. I'm a nervous flyer. I'm not taking 2 flights. If I can get one, I don't care. I'll pay extra. I'll fly in LAX. I don't care.
Here's the get me.
Yeah. So we got to the hotel in just over an hour, and we had plenty of time. So we had about 2.5 hours at that point before California Adventure was going to close, and 3.5 hours before Disneyland was going to close. So we decided that we had time, check into the hotel, bring all the stuff up to the room, kind of just chill for a second, and then we would go, use that awesome Grand Californian entrance into California Adventure and continue on with our day. So, I think by 6 o'clock, we probably chilled in the room for about half an hour just to kind of decompress and take it all in. And then we headed out to the Grand Californian entrance into DCA. And this is where we hit the really big issue. So Jeremy and I had both upgraded our Florida annual passes to the premium annual passes that work in both Florida and California.
Right.
And we did that in Florida before we left, thinking this will save us time on the day of. We'll just be able to swipe and be right in. The kids had just regular park hoppers, so we're like, this is going to expedite this entry into California Adventure. Kids' tickets worked just fine. Our annual passes wouldn't scan. And they told at the gate, they're like, you have to go around to the main ticket counter. There's nothing we can do here.
Well, they said they could have someone come out, but it would probably take half an hour or something. So.
That's where the sound effect needs to come in, like the dun dun dun.
Exactly.
But we still have plenty of time.
Okay.
It's a roadblock, but we figured it was still going to be.
We were attempting to go in at 6. The park closed at 8, so we had 2 hours
right.
still. So as long as we could get it fixed and get it resolved and get in.
And we had a fail-safe. We had bought a package with tickets, and we were just going to save the other tickets for us for another time. So if need be, we could have used those. But
that would have been a ridiculous use of its 2 days.
It would have. But that was if everything was, if they couldn't fix the issue, then that's what we were going to have to do.
Yeah. So we had already gone through security once to go to the Grand Californian entrance. Had to go back around, go through downtown Disney, go through security again to get to the ticket window. And the cast member at the window was like, we see this all the time. Whenever somebody upgrades or buys a premium annual pass in Florida, there's some technology step that they forget to take. So our pass worked just fine in Florida the whole time. They forgot to take some critical technology step that would make it work in California. And so then she went over and she's like, I have to go get my manager. Let me see. So the manager comes over and he's just like, sorry to break it to you, but this is never a quick fix. So we have to get a ticket. It's got to go to IT. They're closed at this point, so maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day it'll get fixed. Hopefully it'll be faster than that, but you just never know how backed up they're going to be and if they're going to get to fixing it. So the whole time we're just kind of standing there just make it right. How can we do this? We have to get into DCA. We have to. We need to park hop. We need to get over to Disneyland too. So, I mean, being Disney and being amazing.
I was going to say, did you show them your chalkboard?
I'm sorry, what?
Did you show them your chalkboards? I mean, like, look at what we have here. You guys got to figure this out.
I don't think so, but I think they could just on our faces, just like the road weary traveler, like exhausted, clearly looked like we had some sort of mission that we were on. The supervisor was amazing, and I feel terrible because I don't remember his name. I was so focused on what we were trying to do that it was in my brain and it has completely fallen out. But he really took care of us. He gave both Jeremy and I a 3-day park hopper to make sure that we would be able to get into the parks for the next couple of days. And, he gave us some food vouchers because we might not be able to use our annual pass discounts.
This was the whole point of getting those things.
Right,
The discounts so good at everything there.
Right.
So.
Right. So, like, he really took care of us, so probably by, like, 6:30, a little bit like a half an hour detour, we were able to get into California Adventure. So, a little bit of stress, a little bit of craziness, but made it in to DCA.
Awesome. So just a setback. So where do you guys head at DCA? I'm trying to think. There's a bunch of unique attractions there at this point.
Cars Land, man.
Yeah. So one kid wanted to do Mater, and the other kid wanted to do Luigi's Rollickin' Roadsters. So we decided we had time and we would do them both. So
Nice.
we went first and did the Rollickin' Roadsters, which was basically walk on. I think it had like a 5-minute posted wait. And then we did Mater's Junkyard Jamboree, which also had like a 5-minute wait.
Which, by the way, is a really fun attraction.
Love
it's
it.
the best.
It really, when you look at that from the out. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, for like a simple flat ride, it's so much fun. I listen to that soundtrack all the time.
I know, it's so much fun. My kids loved it. We were looking at it. They were looking at it from like the road there, and my wife and I were just on it a couple of years ago, and they were looking at it and they were like, all right, we'll do it. And I was like, guys, you don't understand. Like, I'm like the big kid there. I'm like, you guys don't know how cool this is going to be. But they loved it. And what did you guys think of Luigi's Rollickin' Roadsters?
I feel like it's growing on me because I think I've fallen in love with the Sophia car. Like, I love that they all have their own little names.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's simple and it's cool technology, but...
Yeah, like, I feel like it's a ride where it's more fun to watch other people on it and see how the cars all move around than it is to actually be in the cars. Like, I don't think you get a good sense for what's going on when you're in the car. But when you're watching, like, the group in front of you go, like, it's really cool how it all works.
Yeah, it looks. I think you're right. I think it looks really cool from the outside of the attraction. When you're on it, you're just like, all right, like it's cool. But
at least it works though. Compared to, I mean, we never did the tires, but from what I saw, the tires were just a nightmare.
Yeah, I got to do that a couple years ago, and then my friend is actually. Well, I can't give away too much. I don't want people to know who he is, but he works at California Adventure, and he's there. We talked about it anyway. I didn't love it. And then what's really funny is I had Bob Gurr on this podcast last month or 2 months ago or so, and he talked about how much he couldn't stand it. And here's a guy. He's the guy that came up with the original Flying Saucers ride out in Disneyland, and he was telling me how that actually worked and why this one didn't. And he was explaining it to me, and he's a genius. That guy. It's fascinating to hear him talk about that kind of stuff. But it didn't work. It was a poor design. It was, you kind of just ended up. If there were people who knew what they were doing, and they would just crush you along the wall, and you would just sit there. Like I just sat in a car the whole ride, so it wasn't that much fun.
Speaking of crushing, going back to the Mater ride, the first time I went on it, it was just with Kira and I, and the kids weren't with us in Disneyland at that time. And all I could think about was all I wanted to do was swing around and just crush my son against the side.
I think I did that when we rode with my kids. It's a really fun ride.
And I was so happy.
That's awesome. All right, so you guys do those two. Where do you get your picture at in California Adventure?
So we took it just in Cars Land. We had a hard time kind of figuring out what an icon would be. We thought maybe Carthay Circle, but we're like, both rides we did were Cars Land. It's probably our favorite part of that park. So just in front
Probably.
of it
It's
is
probably my favorite land ever.
So just in front of the Cadillac Range, kind of on that main drag there in Cars Land, we had our picture taken.
It's so well done that I can't. I've tried to explain to people who haven't been out there how great that land is, especially at night.
Oh my goodness!
You can't really put it into words.
No.
Yeah, no, I don't want to digress too much, but I kept, everyone saying, "Oh, Radiator Springs so great," and I'm like, "Well, it's just like Test Track. How great could it be?" And that ride, of anything that people always say that Disneyland stuff is better, that one was like hands down. I was like, this is just amazing. It
is. It blows Test Track out of the water. It's funny. I had a question on my Facebook page tonight or this afternoon maybe, for people to answer, and it was like, what attraction does everybody else love and you don't really get? And I got a lot of people to answer Test Track, because I agree. I like the older Test Track more than I like this newer, I guess, Tron track that they have there. I don't love it. But yeah.
I don't mind Tron track, but like this is just
it's just
still so much better.
It is.
Like our son loves cars and racing, and he loves Test Track. It's one of his favorites, but it can't hold a candle to Radiator Springs Racers.
When Luigi changes your tires and you get the white walls, come on.
It's so cool. That part is so cool. When you're looking in like the mirror.
I always want Luigi's side.
That's such a great ride. All right, you guys get your picture of Cars Land,
yep.
And then you have plenty of time.
Yeah, 7:25. We're walking across the Esplanade towards Disneyland.
Wow.
So we know we've made it at this point. We are kind of all a little bit delirious because we've been up for a ridiculous number of hours. We're not even sure what time it is, on West Coast time, even though we're still operating on East Coast time. So we went into Disneyland, and we decided that we would do Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. It's a family favorite. It had a short wait.
Plus, it's a short ride.
It's a short ride. And, we had a wild ride that day, so it was kind of fitting to kind of close on that.
Nice.
So,
get the heck out of Disneyland and go to bed.
Yeah.
Right. We were pretty tired, and we also kind of realized we ate lunch at the airport before we left Florida, but we didn't really eat dinner. And at that point, it was, like almost 11 p.m. Eastern time. So we rode Toad, and then we got our picture taken in front of the castle. And we decided that it was time to go back to the hotel and crash. Jeremy stopped on the way back and grabbed some dinner in downtown Disney to bring back to the room. And I think our daughter was already sound asleep before he even got back. So she didn't even eat dinner. She just went with...
Yeah, I can't... God, I'm sorry.
Never mind.
I was just saying, I can't even imagine like how exhausting that has to be for you guys, let alone the kids. I mean, I can't imagine, like, were they troopers the whole day? Were they excited, or were they, by the time you got to Disneyland, were they over it?
They were pretty into it. So having us for parents, they've pretty much become Disney geeks too. So they like to watch attraction videos on YouTube, and they like to talk about this stuff, and they helped strategize and plan for the day too. So they were both pretty excited. Like our daughter was definitely tired, and she wasn't feeling too well. So I think by the end of the night, she was just done. And we were all just kind of done.
Yeah.
So
they're amazing troopers, though.
Yeah, that's so awesome. So did you, at any point, do you guys watch The Amazing Race? At any point, did it feel like you were on that show?
Don't really watch. I watched it a few times. My mom watches it, but I guess it kind of does. It kind of did feel like that. Like it was a cool challenge. Like to plan for, to try and like bulletproof. Like what are all the things that can go wrong? What can we control? What can't we control? If this happens, what would we do? Like, we had 1,000,001 backup plans to everything. If we can't ride this, what about that? If we can't do this, let's go there.
This just went redonkulous. Like it was like eerie how flawless it was. I mean, we had the one little hookup with the annual passes, but we were in such good time it didn't even matter.
Right. Yeah, we don't ever have that good of luck. So it was just truly amazing.
So what's your next challenge? What are you guys doing next? Is it Tokyo, Hong Kong, Shanghai, all in one day?
Oh, Oh man, that would be fun. That's our plan when we win the lottery. Is we're doing like the world tour, like every park, plus a cruise and Adventures by Disney. Just kind of spend a year doing all of it.
Oh man, I hear you. My kids, like you said, your kids are Disney, just like the Disney nerds now. My kids are they have no hope in life. They're such Disney nerds already, and they do the same thing. They watch the YouTube videos, and we watch. They're like, before we got to Disneyland, they had never been there, so they wanted to watch Disneyland on our TV, Disneyland videos on YouTube on our TV, but they only wanted to watch them in like the ultra HD, whatever. And
4K.
And you can find those on YouTube, the 4K videos.
And, the SoCal 360, I'm such a nerd. The SoCal 360 guys do great videos.
Is that who it is? Maybe that's what we were watching. Yeah. I know, but we were all sitting around in our like living room a couple days before the trip, watching it in like the ultra, the 4K HD. And yeah, my kids have no prayer. We signed up for we're a DVC, and I do what I do for a job, so they're done. They have no hope. So guys.
Yep, like when our daughter's watching a video, like you could put on like Haunted Mansion or some ride that's in both parks, and she'll just walk into the room and she'll be like, "Oh, that's in California because blah blah blah." Like she can just immediately tell which version of the ride it is.
There's green shells on the aerial ride.
Dude, that would make me so proud. I'd be so proud of that. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your experience with me and with the listeners, and this is a lot of fun, and I really want to do it. Do you have like any advice for people who are thinking about doing it, who who stumble on the Frontier Airlines site and they can afford it? Should they do it? Should they not do it? What do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, especially if you can do it during a time where the hours are better at the park. I think even if we had like an 8 a.m. open in Florida and California was open till like 11 p.m. or something, like it would have been a lot easier to plan, and we would have had a lot more luxury and a little bit more flexibility on the flight. So we got very, very lucky, but I think you can do this in a number of ways.
Yeah, especially if you do it on a weekend, like it'd probably be a lot simpler in many ways because they're usually better hours on the weekend.
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you again so much for coming on. This is a lot of fun, and we'll next time, if you're going to plan something crazy, let me know, and I want to talk to you again.
No worries. I assume we're probably the second best guest after Julie Andrews on your show, right?
So yeah, without a doubt. We'll have to, I'll leave it up to a vote. And that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Ear to There podcast. Thank you so much again to my guests, Kira and Jeremy. I was just getting totally exhausted listening to their travels and their trip and their journey and their adventure. I think we have a few more years, my wife, my kids, and I, before we can attempt something that crazy. But never say never. Who knows? Maybe I will be bugging my wife in the next couple years to say, hey, look, they did it. Let's see if we can do it. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this episode, just like I hope you enjoy each and every episode that I put out there. And if you did enjoy it, I have one simple request, one favor to ask of you, and that's just please tell someone you know or someone online or someone you just met on a Facebook chat about this show. I really appreciate it. I know me and you, we're not the only Disney crazy people out there. So just let someone else know who is a crazy Disney fan or a Disney nerd or a Disney addict, whatever word you want to use, whatever term you want to use, let somebody else know about the show. It is greatly appreciated by me. And the more people that listen, the more people that know about it, the better. So thank you so much in advance for telling someone about the show. And just remember, there will be a new episode of the Ear to There podcast each and every Monday morning, as well as a new episode of the Ear to There podcast, Walt Disney World Word of the Week. That's each and every Wednesday morning. And sandwiched in the middle of those two is my newer show, Running for Sandwiches. That'll be each and every Tuesday morning. So again, thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate you. I really appreciate the fact that you took the time to listen. Until next time, have a phenomenal week. Bye-bye.